Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for Mortal Kombat. I'm actually lovely. Joining me today, Dylan Blatt.
Fatality. No, it wasn't very good. Hello.
Alright, please be aware we're freely discussing anything and everything about the plot, themes, and ending of the film, so if you haven't watched it, come back later. So with that said, let's jump to our discussion of Mortal Kombat, directed by Simon McQuoid, screenplay by Greg Russo and Dave Callaham, story by Oren, Uziel, and Greg Russo, based on Mortal Kombat by Ed Boon, John Tobias, starring Lewis Tan, Jessica McNamee, Josh Lawson, Tadanobu, Asano, Mehcad Brooks, Ludi Lin, Chin Han, Joe Taslim, and Hiroyuki Sanada. Washed up MMA fighter Cole Young, unaware of his heritage and hunted by Emperor Shang Tsung's best warrior, Sub-Zero, seeks out and trains with Earth's greatest champions as he prepares to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. Dylan, are you a fan of Mortal Kombat?
I would say no, but not in the sense of I don't like the game, just that I would not consider myself a fan of the franchise. I'm someone who played them as a kid. I played sporadically some of the other games throughout the years, and the last one I played was Mortal Kombat 9, I think, right? To PS3?
Probably.
That'd be right. What was the last one that was on console?
11. Just came
Yeah, and I think there was 10
year.
and 11 on the
10
last
came out
generation,
PS4,
maybe?
yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been 9 on the one that was banned in Australia. And someone imported it before we got an R18 rating. And the reason I wanted to play it was basically because it was banned in Australia, so
Okay.
I had the opportunity to play it. So,
Makes
like,
sense.
I know the character names, or the main character names. I know the backstory of the majority of them, like the main characters that we have in this. Like, I have enough to, but I'm not
To
a super
compare it
fan that I
against,
would, like to like get into like super lore or stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm similar. I played the Super Nintendo versions of the games and that kind of thing, but then kind of dropped off. The fighting games aren't really my thing, but this kind of dragged me back in. But Dylan, what do you think of the film Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I kind of found I feel like you could very easily go, yeah, it's one of the actual good video game movies, I guess. Like, it definitely does fit into the category. It's not a bad movie. I just kind of feel like for every thing I was loving or liked, there was a scene after or something that was just kind of a letdown or felt like a rush. Or I guess the biggest standout is it feels like the script was put together over a weekend and a lot of other parts got the most attention, which, I mean, it's a Mortal Kombat movie, so maybe the script didn't need to win an Oscar or anything, but it definitely feels like just core pacing wise, even dialogue at time. Like, I appreciate some of the corny dialogue, but then there's times when I'm like, ugh. Just especially some of the Sonya and Jack's conversations or stuff like that just felt very stilted and not particularly like not corny in a good way, just kind of weird and corny. The standout good stuff is definitely, hey, we have some actually good fight scenes, but they're not every fight scene. So the good fight scenes are basically any of the ones with the people who actually are martial artists or who have done other stuff like that. So I would say anything with like, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, as bad as that sounds, yeah. But I mean, like, so the main guy,
Lewis Tan.
Yeah. So he does that show, Warrior, right?
Yes.
Well, no, yeah. Was it a different one?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Warrior.
I'm trying to double check before I fucking. No, Into the Badlands is the one he does, right?
That's the one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Someone else is a Warrior from the cast.
I think it's Joe Taslim.
Yeah, it might be Joe.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, so that one's from. So anyway, him. Joe Taslim plays Sub-Zero, and so them plus Hiroyuki Sanada, right? Who plays. I don't know. I mean, we're in Spoilercast as well. Scorpion.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So, like, those three have the best fight scenes. And I mean, basically the Sub-Zero Scorpion fight at the start of the movie starts out strong. And I was like, fuck yeah, like where the shit's about to go off. Like this movie's going to be amazing because I was loving the choreography and everything like that. And then you get into some of the fights throughout the middle of the movie. And I was like, this is just kind of typical. Like this doesn't feel up to the quality of what the movie set out with at the start. Like it just felt like it was put together by a different team or didn't have the same effort, and that was kind of letting me down. So that's my sort of one disappointment.
I would say that was supposed to be evocative of those kind of films, you know, like samurai kind of stuff, and it was shot that way, and then shoot forward to modern time, and it's very much modern type filmmaking, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, like the last fight is back to that though, like. You know, because
he's back, so you know he.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah,
I'm probably adding too much thought to this. It's just because they had really good fighters that they could choreograph it better.
And the one other thing I'll say before you can give your thoughts is that, hold on. Josh Lawson, yes, everyone would obviously he's a standout. He's the reason everyone's going to like the movie, I feel. But then I guess the other major criticism I have is it feels kind of weird to start a movie that basically sets up potentially Scorpion's story, and then you're like, oh no, it's about his son, about his lineage, cool, no worries. But then it doesn't really work by the time you get to the end of the movie, and then ultimately it's kind of Scorpion's revenge story, or you know what I mean? Like it's like his story is back. He's like, yeah, thanks, you saved me. I'll see my revenge plot. Like Cole's not the one who does the finisher; it's Scorpion, and it kind of takes away from it for me. If you get what I'm saying, like it I don't know. Anyway, what'd you feel?
Yeah, the story is not good. It's kind of all over the place. There's a lot of bad dialogue and cheesy moments and that kind of stuff. But fuck, I had a really good time. Like being in the, I think this movie is very much proof that being in the cinema like really makes a difference to these films. Especially seeing some of the reaction online to people who've watched it at home and that kind of stuff.
They're watching it on their iPads in bed.
It's like. Yeah, this is a film, not just some random piece of content that you're consuming because you've got nothing else to do. You know
Go live tweet it, you know? Go live tweet with your reactions and...
Yeah. But yeah, I'll admit I was hyped out. Sissy Stringer, who played Milena, did a Q&A before and kind of hyped up the crowd with her talk and passion for the film. So, you know, I might have gone in with a slightly different experience than most people who went to watch it, but I think... yeah, it's a good time. Like, it's the most fun I've had since the pandemic started in a cinema. So, I think it was almost a full crowd. So that's kind of
yeah. Even with I probably had 30 people, I think, in the cinema, like roughly, I guess, on a Saturday Arvo or whatever. I'm sure there's probably more at the 7 o'clock that night or something, but they were laughing at every Kano joke, you know, and then a few of them were reacting to the shock and horror at some of the fatalities, the gore and stuff like that. So, and you're just not going to get that if you're watching it on HBO Max in America or whatever. So, yeah, I know it definitely does feel like a cinema movie for the full experience, let alone having the big screen and everything. Yeah, it's like definitely a group. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know how it would play just sitting there by yourself. Yeah, do we want to talk about some of the characters? Obviously, Cole Young, introduced in this film, brand new character. Did they need to introduce a brand new character? Well, I guess you don't think it worked, seeing as the whole purpose of his character is to set up Scorpion kind of as this spectral figure from the Nether Realm. Yeah,
I don't think it worked. I was fine with the idea of it, and I was fine with it for the majority of the movie. I think he's whatever it's called, like his awakening of his power or whatever.
His Arcana.
His Arcana. There you go. I thought that was pretty lame, to be honest. It wasn't like it's literally just armor.
Suit.
Yeah, they're like, he literally goes, I'm not as good as fighter anymore, and he's getting his ass handed to him. So his Arcana is it's literally just armor, so he can take more punches. Because he's not as good as a fighter. I'm like, it's kind of lame. And I don't particularly like the way it looked or anything like that. And then by the end of the movie, I just kind of felt like his arc or his story or anything like that kind of just deflated and just, I don't know where it went or what the point of it was. Because by the end of the movie, it does definitely feel like it just sets up Scorpion and it sets up a sequel. But I'm like, okay, like other than the fact that he's now like, I'm part of this thing, whatever, I'm part of Raiden's group to find fighters. I don't really feel like what is his actual story in this? Like, because it starts out with him being like, oh, I'm not as good as a fighter, and he used to be this big fighter and whatever else. Then, other than getting the armor, I really don't get it. Like, I don't get what his armor is really.
Help protect Earthrealm. He's
Yeah.
destined. He's got the mark. You know?
Sure. I mean, I didn't hate him. I just felt like he wasn't as interesting as nearly every other person in the movie. And that's nothing against the actor or anything. That's simply on paper. I think he wasn't as interesting as anyone else.
I don't know if I go that far, but he was fine. Played his role, I guess. I think it would have worked better if he was like introduced, if all the other characters were more established, I guess, maybe. And he was like the viewer's entrance into the film. But everyone's coming to this concept blind. So it doesn't really make sense to have, other than obviously setting up the lineage thing of Scorpion, which I think they did well, and they pretty much, I think the purpose of this film was set up Sub-Zero and Scorpion as badasses, which they did. I think Sub-Zero was really well used through the entire film, kind of the main antagonist, the big bad, the main threat through the entire film. They used his ice powers reasonably well, creatively, and that kind of stuff. And the only lame thing was when he said, "I'm Sub-Zero now."
Yeah, I didn't like when Scorpion did it either. I'm Scorpion now. Okay.
It's like, dude, it's been like hundreds of years, and you only just decided to tell him you're Sub-Zero now. But yeah, how'd you feel about Sub-Zero in the film?
Yeah, he was really good. It was literally just a horror movie villain. Just stalking people, trying to kill them. Fucked up evil. That actor's from The Raid, so all about it.
Of course, yeah.
Never going to miss an opportunity to mention The Raid when I can see an opportunity to mention The Raid.
But I mean, it's hard not to go, yeah, but the fights in this aren't as good as in The Raid.
They're not as good as The Raid, no. But he definitely was in he's in all 2 or top 3 of the top 3 fights in the movie easily. So he has that going for him. What's his actual name? Baihan or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that was it, right? Yeah, like I did quick Google after, and then the lore-wise, that's actually Noob from the franchise, which is, they like at some point retconned, and it was like the original Sub-Zero. But it's not the main Sub-Zero that everyone plays in the games, like the one most people think about. So they've like opened up opportunities there, I guess, for there to be a second Sub-Zero, plus having him come back as Sub-Zero, but it's Noob, not actually. I don't know. That's like getting into the weeds of it. But
yeah, this is confusing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Kano. Josh Lawson.
Right,
kind of steals the show as this Australian bogan. I thought he was very close to overshadowing the film, like taking it over completely.
No, he did take it over completely. Like
to the point where it's too much.
No, it is. It's good because I can't imagine this film without him, and I feel like it would have been a lot. Especially, so the worst part of the movie. It's 110 minutes, which is way too long for this, in my opinion. But the worst part of the movie is all of the training time. Like, it really just bogs down in the middle and goes, we're going to do this whole training sequence, even though we're never actually going to have a Mortal Kombat tournament, which, by the way, is another weird thing that they do with this. They're like, Mortal Kombat! There's no fucking tournament!
No,
we're just going to have some fights.
They're setting up for the future film.
Yeah, I know they're setting up for a sequel, but the fact that there's a training sequence where they're training for the tournament and the tournament...
Well, I don't think they're training for the tournament. They're training to not die from the invading other world
but
fighters.
all of that really bogged down the film, I felt. And
it
would have been so much worse if you didn't have Kano there. Like, imagine Kano wasn't there. Oh my God. So boring. He's literally the life of the party in the middle of the movie in all of those scenes. You know, think about like the sweep kick thing.
Yes. One of my favorite moments from the film.
Yeah.
So meta.
Imagine without that, you know, let alone everything else that he's in it. So I don't think he overshadows the movie. I feel like he really is just necessary to help liven up a lot of the more boring parts. I don't know. But you know, he's fantastic. It's a pity.
No, I think it's just like every single scene seemed that, or every single shot, it seemed like he had some sort of aside. Like Josh Lawson had made something up on set. Like, yes, we need to stick that in the movie. Yes, we need to stick that in the movie.
I can't wait to actually find out because I wouldn't be surprised to hear that 90% of what he says was just ad-libbed on the spot.
Yeah.
Would not surprise me at all because a lot of it just does not seem like it's anything other than fucking around. Especially a lot of the little background moments where, like for a start, where they get to where what's his name, Kang? No, yeah,
Kang.
Yeah, Kang. Sorry, when he like leads him to that where the doorway is, and then Kano goes, "Well, you're opening a fucking secret door, are you?" And then the door opens, and then you can just subtly hear in the background, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." Like, you know, like it's just little things at the time, it's just the background sort of stuff. So, yeah. I mean, it's so funny too, because thinking back to the original trailer with him in it, I never thought anything about it. In fact, his one line in the trailer where Kano wins or whatever, I was like, not about that. That seems kind of on the nose.
It's weird also that I think they like split, they like...
I think they inverted the footage. It's not that the eye
people are getting upset about the eye,
It's on the wrong side. I think they just switched, they inverted it or something. I don't know.
Why?
Like,
it makes sense.
I don't know.
Does it piss off the fans?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I remember everyone was arguing about that, but it's not in the movie. It's fine. So I don't know. Maybe the special effects was fucked and they weren't finished, and they put them in the trailer and then they fixed it for the full release. But no, he's a great time. I'm interested to see how, like, because most of the people I've seen loving him has been people in Australia when we've been watching it the last couple of days, and it's only been 24 hours since America had it, and I haven't seen as much enough you have. Love.
No.
Or
I was expecting to wake up and Kano gifts and shit all over the timeline. But maybe because the Americans didn't love it as much as we do.
Yeah. I mean, I was really wondering if they would like it as much. Or they're like, fucking Australians, they sound ridiculous, when obviously Australians watching this are going, that's over the top and ridiculous, but it's fucking funny. You know?
Yeah. So what do you think of the other characters in the film who, let's be honest, didn't get much?
Alright, so I got IMDb open. Let's just have a little bit of it. Sonya Blade and Jax, I think, got fucked, personally. I think both get little to no sort of character development. And they're also they're actually two characters who I feel like most Mortal Kombat players, even myself, know. Obviously, they're like hardcore secret characters or something they know. And I wasn't a big fan of the changes to them where they're not actually like secret agents in this. They're just like ex-military people who are now investigating something, which I'm like, oh no, I don't really like that change, but whatever. You know, like I kind of just prefer the whole notion of them being part of a secret government and they're actually just in Mortal Kombat at the same time or whatever. Anyway, I didn't think Jessica McNamee. That's how you say her. McNamee. I didn't think she was particularly great in this. She was like the weakest link, I felt, amongst the cast. Like acting wise, I just didn't feel like she was particularly clicking for me. Jax, the guy who played Jax, was fine. What's his name? Mehcad Brooks?
Yep.
He was fine, but I just feel like, again, him and Sonya just get fuck all like character time for them. Like, Jax,
I think, well, obviously Sonya plays the information dump at this.
Well, throughout the whole movie, basically.
Yeah. You know, but her arc is, you know, she doesn't have a mark. She's not allowed to fight.
And then she gets one,
And then she gets one by killing the character everybody likes.
And Jax says, I lost my arms, but then I awakened my powers, and now I've got cooler tougher
arms.
mechanical arms. So now I'm fine with it or something. So anyway.
Yeah,
I don't really. Raiden, I thought was pretty cool. I like the way they did his like proper eyes in this. After having watched the original one,
the 1995 version,
and I hated that. I mean, for a start, actually having a non-white person play the
Asian God of Thunder,
Asian God of Thunder, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So that's a big difference. And I like the way his eyes were always white and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. Who else we met? Shang Tsung. Nah, pretty shit, eh?
I mean, he got one cool moment in the entire film. Every other time he's like
the one soul sucking moment. Yeah. Other than that, also I just don't like. They changed things in this, and some for the better, some for the whatever. But why they never really give him any more backstory other than that little text dump at the start where it's like, there's bad guys, they want to take over Earth. Like, he literally never gets anything other than that. From the second you see him on screen, it's just, I'm the bad guy. You know, like, they never even try. Yeah, they never. Yeah, pretty much. They never even try to give him anything other than, I'm the bad guy, duh. Liu Kang was cool, I thought.
Yeah. I'm keen to see more of him.
Yes, I feel like he definitely stood out. He was like, you could see him being a bigger part of the franchise going forward, or one of the key leading, top 3 leads in the next one or something like that. That'd be really cool. Kung Lao was fine. He has that fucking one badass moment where he chops what's her face in half with his fucking hat.
Natara?
I can't remember. Yeah, Natara. Yeah, that's it. That was pretty cool.
Flawless victory.
Flawless. Yeah, that was on the nose. But
did you get hit?
Melina was fine. Like that Sissy Stringer was good playing her, like creepy and everything like that. But I kind of just feel like she was somewhat wasted because she has a really cool look and like she's badass and everything. And I just feel like having her die in this movie is kind of.
Well,
I mean, they're probably all just going to come back.
They pretty much make it so they're going to come back.
Yeah, Shang Tsung put in a quarter and press continue. So Raiko, meh, whatever. Cabal, however you say his name. The whole time, so he shows up and I go, this motherfucker's a bounty hunter from Star Wars. Or like, that's pretty much what he was looking like. And I'm like, listening to the voice, I'm like, who's voicing this person? Because I could, like, it sounds like someone I know. And then I get off and I look it up and I find out it's Damon Harriman. Yeah, who plays, he was like Charles Manson and it's 2 things, Mindhunter and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and in the same year or whatever. I was like, how do these sound so Australian? And then I see he's actually from Australia.
Yeah.
Which I had always assumed that dude was from America. So
no.
Yeah. So there was a shock and a horror moment.
He was in The Nightingale.
I had no idea.
Union Punch.
No idea. Haven't watched that. So
you've watched The Nightingale?
Have I? The Nightingale?
Yeah, the Tasmanian Revenge.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I can't. I literally can't even remember him being in that, to be honest. So, or I didn't really think about it.
Clearly.
But there you go. Turns out I've never looked at his IMDb, and yes, he is very Australian. It wasn't an Australian thing, but I just assumed he was American.
He's in Mr. In Between, which is a very big Australian series.
And the other person in this cast I was going to call out is Angus Sampson plays Goro. And I was like, did Goro talk?
I think he just grunted a bunch of times.
So did Angus Sampson just get paid to come grunt?
Sounds like. Setting
cool
up for
story.
future films.
Yeah, I guess. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's no one else we've missed, right?
But obviously, Hiroyuki Sanada, really good as Scorpion. But
I skipped him because we was talking about him before. But no, he was fantastic, especially in that opening 10 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I like you said, most of other than like the top 4 or 5, everyone kind of gets limited or very small segments. I do think they showcase like some of their abilities and stuff pretty well, like in the fights that they did. Were there any fights other than the opening and closing fights that stood out to you?
No, I really don't think there was. I cannot picture a fight that I was invested in between the start and the end of the movie. Okay. I mean, the Goro fight was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'll take that. As far as like CGI. Like, obviously, having someone fight a CGI character is obviously going to be a lot harder than like real characters and stuff like that. But I feel as far as CGI fights go, that one was pretty scary and cool and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the reptile fight towards the fight start,
Really? I thought Reptile CGI looked shit.
It was fine.
I completely forgot about that. I
Again,
feel like
it was setting up Kano.
Yeah, I know. But like that CGI of Reptile compared to the CGI of the dragon thing later, compared to the CGI of Goro, compared to like just everything else, it looks so much cheaper. Just really stood out to me. So
I don't know. It's hard to make things invisible, I guess.
Kano fucking wins though.
Kano wins.
I'll tell you what though, I'm going to say it right now. I would not have watched this movie again, but I'm going to watch it again just for Kano. 100%. And I'm going to admit that right now.
Yeah. All right. What was your favorite fatality?
It's kind of hard, hey. I don't know. Favorite fatality? Fuck, I don't know. That's hard. You give me yours. Hold on, I'm thinking.
Well, it's hard to go past what's his face? Kang Lao's, which is one great moment of him like sawing that lady in half and seeing the entire lady in half.
Yeah, that might be the best one. I don't know if there's one as gruesome or as cool as that.
I know obviously Goro getting sliced up and just intestines dropping everywhere.
Yeah, it wasn't as
Jax slapping his hands together, bursting the guy's head open.
Yeah, I'll go with that one. No, actually, that one was cool because that was actually one of the fatalities I could remember from in the game, where I was like, that's literally from the game. Any of the other ones other than Scorpions were I was like, nah. I don't know if these are actually from the game, but I can't remember them. But the only two that I was like, yep, Scorpion, fire, and then the hand slap thing from Jax. So.
Absolutely. All right, well, I guess we finished the film with, a tease, Johnny Cage. So what do you want for a potential second film? Other than Johnny Cage.
So, here's my question. They reckon they've got 4 of these movies planned or some shit? Like, they signed on for 4?
Yeah, I could see. Here's my thinking is next film, again, gathering the fighters of the world, trying to stop them again. Third film is the actual tournament. And then the fourth film is Otherworld invading, because fuck everybody.
Yeah, so this is what I was trying to think. I personally would be okay with, I know some fans may not like it if there's not a tournament, because they're like, well, it's Mortal Kombat, so you got to have the tournament. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this movie kind of just, I felt like they just fucked around too much, saying tournament, training tournament, no tournament. So that was kind of annoying. But I feel like they could do a second movie with little to no Otherworld people. Like, they're in it, but they're not actually fighting. And I'd be okay with that, because I feel like maybe if you have someone else come in, like someone else is chasing them, like Sub-Zero in this movie, like trying to fuck with them, I'm like, okay, well, this is just the same shit again, so maybe I don't need that. But maybe you could actually have a cool story where they're like gathering fighters, they're gathering fighters. I don't know, like put in actual just fights. I don't know, introduce to. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Just if you want to do several of these movies, that's a problem with basing a movie on a franchise that's literally about a fighting tournament. Like
the funny thing someone pointed out is they haven't had a fighting tournament in several games, so
that's true. But they've got to get to that point in the movies. Like if they want to have this a long running franchise, which I don't know if it's going to make the money, but we'll find out. But if that's what they want to do, they need to they can't save the fight for like the 10th movie. You need to have the fight and then move on from it, or the tournament and move on from it.
I will say the box office, the budget was $55 million. So, it's not a high bar to pass. But I suspect, obviously, sequels would potentially be more expensive to make and that kind of stuff.
Especially, how much are they going to pay the Johnny Cage actor?
I know. Who do you think they should get to Johnny Cage?
I actually have no idea. It has to be someone who can actually fight though, because if you want him to be the leading character, or, co-leading character or what have you. And that's what you'd need to do to have Johnny Cage in it. You need someone who's both charismatic and the Hollywood type to fit that role. But they need to be able to do the actual fighting. You can't have someone who's just like, you need like a Tom Cruise or someone, but not an actual Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? Like someone who will do some of the work.
But the Miz has been putting out that he wants to play Johnny Cage.
Yeah, I know, but I don't see it. I can't see that personally.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that brings us to the end of our discussion of Mortal Kombat. Let us know what you thought of the film by going to by finding us on Twitter by going to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter, or you can jump to us at Discord at explosionnetwork.com/Discord. If you like this episode and thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Buy us coffee. Every little bit of monetary help helps a lot. But if you can't do that, leave us a review either on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or tell a friend about the show. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess. Also, I enjoyed the joke where he said they show the Mortal Kombat written on the wall. He says it's spelt wrong.
Yeah. He's like, they didn't even spell it right.